Hello everyone, today I'm going to talk to you about what's good or what's bad for a thumbnail for your video for YouTube. As we all know that a thumbnail is very important to attract people to be interested to your video. So the first impression to your customer and your viewers. For example, if you look at my video list, you need to make sure your thumbnail can be clearly viewed the details on a small mobile phone. For example, if people view your video on an iPad or on a television, that's fine because that's much bigger. But when people look at your video list or playlist, the thumbnail is much smaller. So that's why to make sure your thumbnail are clear enough to be viewed what you want to show them in a mobile phone. Here is my video list from the oldest one, the first one I uploaded back to a long time ago. On the top you can see it is in Chinese on the right hand side, and the bottom I have English. So that's the title of this video. But however, this title you only can list a few words. So this again, when you give a title, the first few words must be the key attractive word for your whole title. If your title is very long, the viewer will not be see your title or keyword within the display screen. So here on the top one, you can see I have a photo. From the photo, it's not too bad. I have a blue sky, I have the trees, I have two roads. Maybe people will feel, oh, something interesting, I want to have a look. However, I have my problem. Because I put a text on the bottom of that thumbnail. It's a beautiful West Yorkshire. However, the text, the side of the font is too small. You can't read it. So this thumbnail was not a good one. If you look at the second one, I got a teapot. I try to put some tea to a new tea dishes. So I want to introduce this tea set to people. But this back to the second video I upload. That time I even do not know how to design the thumbnail. I believe that's the YouTube automatically to put one for me. I didn't put any text. Again, this one was not a good thumbnail. The third one, I talk about a beautiful crystal. I use mobile phone to take the video. The video itself was not too bad, but however, this thumbnail do not really show you anything. Okay, from the next one, I gradually learn how to design a thumbnail. The next one again is Italy. I got a photo. While on the top, I did put some text called a beautiful fishing village, Cinque Terre. People can read that probably. However, the text are too small. The next one is Italy pizza. This one a little better. First, from the photo, you can see it's about a culture events, about people dressing, nicely, march across the street. Also on the top left, I put Italy pizza. Not that perfect, but good enough. At least you know this is about an event in pizza in Italy. On the right hand side, again, I have some Chinese word called, have you seen the pizza tower? But you have never seen something like this. But however, because the title too long, you can't see the second most important sentence. The next one is about a medical museum in the United Kingdom. On the right hand side, I wrote in Chinese, talk about the oldest medical museum in UK. However, you really hardly read the text. Okay, so these are a few, the earliest video I made, but that time I do not know how to make thumbnail. But after that, I start to learn how to do that. If you look at this one, you can read the text as nightmare train journeys to a happy ending, which means you can read the text, isn't it? You know what I talk about is a train journey, which was nightmare, but later on how you can turn that to a happy ending. On the right hand side, I have text say you are right to get a refund. You probably will guess maybe refund for a ticket or something. It's not too bad. I think this one is okay. The next one I put here is a train I draw myself. It's a balance which is about law or judge your right or whatever. On the top I put the passenger right. The font is not big enough. It's not very attractive. However, it's better than the previously some names I have introduced to you. This is okay. But from next one, I start to learn how to design, make the thumbnail more attractive. You can see this is about a joke. So on the right hand side, I have some funny photos, and also I have a call, because this is talk about a call, a joke. On the left hand side, I put some word about every week one joke about. I hope you are happy with that. Probably if you read Chinese, you can understand what I talk about. So this one is not too bad. But maybe left hand side, the background image is a little bit too dark. Okay, the next one is about a Chinese noodle restaurant. So I just introduced that. But this is the front photo of that restaurant. On the top, you do have the Chinese name of the restaurant, which is not too bad. On the right hand side, I have the title. But next one is better now, because I have my son who's dancing, the street dancing. On the left hand side, I say street dancing. On the top is much bigger, this font, 2 words. People know Chinese, they will know what I talk about. Then I have some explanation. It's the street dancing is for the youngers. Yeah, I have some meanings on the thumbnail. The next one is about joke. It's the name of the joke I put in the English letters. However, that time I choose different letters. This letter looks pretty, but I think it's difficult to read. When you choose the font, do not choose the one difficult to read, because you want the people immediately, first impression, they know immediately what you want to talk about. You don't want to use look like an artist font, beauty font, but however, they are not easy to be read by your viewers. Again, next one I have is how to connect the wireless Bluetooth mouse to your iPad. But again, this one, the weakness, I should put a mouse there, but I should have the font is much bigger, easy to be read. Again, this one was not good. I think I will go quickly, because the first stage I'm learning how to design the thumbnail, but at that time I was not very good. I have similar weakness in all of them. But from here, you can see I have more design. I use 2-3 different photos, which are relevant to the topic. And however, the weakness still are the font are too small, difficult to be read immediately by your viewers. And from here, I try to start to put some attractive things. But on the top one here, I will tell you one tip. You can see the bottom right hand side. Initially, I put a word there to try attract the viewers. But however, can you see the time? It's 1 minute 35 seconds. Because on this thumbnail, the YouTube will automatically add your time stamp on the right bottom hand side. So which means when you design your thumbnail, do not put anything important on the bottom right, because that area will be covered later on. It's useless, isn't it? This is one of the tips I found later on. I avoid on the bottom right hand side, put anything there. But this is one of the things I want to let you know. So you can see later on I do have some photo. I take some special photo for the topic. which makes that sales explanation. For example, like this one is cut the skin of the apple. Even I do not need to put any text, you will know that, isn't it? Basically, sometimes it's not means that you need to put lots of text, lots of photos. It's just about your thumbnail can tell your viewer what this video is about. So you do not really have to make it very complex. The next one you say I did better. Previously I did introduce our wireless mouse. That time I only have text, no photo. But this one I have photo, but however no text. But this one not too bad, because if you look at the right hand side, the title, I did put the text is TechNet Bluetooth wireless mouse. Actually, if I remove the TechNet, only say Bluetooth wireless mouse, which is better, isn't it? If you look at the next one, I have designed that later on to replace the older thumbnail. This one I have the English word. It's much bigger than previous one. It's tell you the two-way to cut canary melon. It's not too bad. And on the left, I do have some photo to show you the cutting of the canary melon. But this one is a little bit of problem. You can see the bottom of the word melon was covered by the time stamp. So I should move the text a little bit up, which will have much better effect. I think when I have time, I will redo the design of the thumbnail and replace for my older videos. The next one is the Brexit. So that's fine, but I think the text should be slightly bigger. And the second line of text, you just can't read them, can you? You can't read them. The next one is about iPhone 11. However, the text, the color was not dark enough. You would not to see that. I would go a little bit faster than and to show you. Like this one, you probably can read how to replace a partial glass sliding door track cover. This is not too bad. You can read the text at least, isn't it? But I would suggest if I put a sliding door photo on the right hand side and gradually I'm improving to design of my thumbnail. This one you can say I talk about, I use Chinese word, I use Red Cross because this is about to treat a disease. But on the background I have the photo about my skin problems. This one is much better now compared to previous one. If I move to further down, I will show you some even better one. This one I talk about car share in China. You can see I have a car on the right hand side. I have a car share in Chinese on the left, which means people will immediately, what I want to talk about is about the car share in China, the good side or bad side, whatever. So this is a much better one. Okay, here I still sometimes have a similar problem, is that text was too small or the text color was not good enough. But this one you can say is much better. You can read the text. It's the Chinese folk dancing. I do have 2-3 photos on the background, but the photo may be slightly too small. You may not see the photo clearly, but you can see the Chinese the dancing word there. You probably will realize what the photo are about. The next one again I have similar problem because this is a graduation ceremony, but on the top are the text but which was not readable. You can see sometimes I just use a photo. I do not bother to add text because they have a sales explanation, easy for people to understand. Like this one. From this one, I think I start to spend more time to design the thumbnail. You can see I use the different color, different patterns to highlight the word and make the word easy to read. It's much better. Again, on the right hand side, I put the title about how to prevent the cancer, which means the photo plus the text and plus the title give your viewer an overview what this video about. The next one is effective fitness exercise. I do have 2-3 different lines. One trick is for design a thumbnail. Do not try to put too many tags. The text shouldn't go over 3 lines. 1 or 2 lines is better. And on each line, the words do not over 4 or 5. If you have too many words, then they will be much smaller font. It's harder to read. Okay, sometimes I design animation myself, try to make it more attractive. This one is the greeting card for Chinese New Year. On the thumbnail, you can see a red because this year is red year. On the top right, I got 2020. Then I have a Chinese greeting word, which is big enough, very easy to be read by the Chinese people. So this one, I think the design is much better. On the right side, I do have a title in Chinese, which means you say bye-bye to the year of pig, and you welcome the year of the red, and looking forward to the year of the coal next year. In combination, this thumbnail and the title, I think this one give a very good ideas. However, if you want to make this more attractive, you may change the color, add some funny sign or photos on the background, which will be good as well. I will tell you the weakness of this one. This one is about COVID-19. I do have some photos to show the doctors or the researchers and the Wuhan city. I have some text, but I think the photo is too many. You may just need 1 or 2, not more than 3 in one thumbnail. But for text, again, you need a text big enough to read. Actually, this one, the thumbnail, I choose 3 photos. The photo themselves looks pretty, very attractive, the colorful. However, the text I put here are too small and not very visualized in good contrast. So this one is not successful, it's not good. This one is not too bad because we talk about palindrome date. So you can see the most palindrome date. That's good enough, very clear. And I choose a pattern. You do not know what that means, but maybe look like a sign because we talk about date. It's better you put a sign or moon or whatever. But if the sky is blue, maybe even better. But the problem with this one, you see the date I put here a little bit too small. But if the date is a little bit bigger, we'll make this one a better thumbnail. The next one I got too many photos, too many text because very similar to the previous one I introduced you. But this one, the text is much bigger. You can see that. On the certain line, on the top is the date of the video I made. On the certain line is big in Chinese title, how to choose a mask. You can read very clearly. Then I do have the mask here. So this one is much better. On the right hand side, I have a title called the Global N19 Mask is running out. You cannot buy it. So this is one of the best thumbnail I think have designed. However, the text can be even more visible in the future. I did put the background under the text to make a better contrast. This one I start to change the font size. For example, on the right hand side I have virus. I make the virus much bigger than other font. So when you look at this, you immediately realize this is talk about a virus. So this is, you can say I'm improving when I design the thumbnail along the line, and since I started the YouTube channel. This one on the top, I'm trying to show you how to brush your teeth. On the top I have 4 photos, show the different brushes and the floors and so on. Then the bottom I have put a Chinese word. Is the correct way to brush your teeth. Demonstration and explanation, which is big enough to read. However, the text on the right hand side are almost covered by the timestamp. So be careful of that. This one is much better one. This one I'm talking about how to do the self-isolation. So I did highlight, I put the COVID-19 on the top, a little bit small, but I highlight the virus. Then on the big word, I use self-isolation in Chinese. It's much bigger. But this one also, I use English, put the bottom, how to self-isolate. It should be slightly bigger than this. But this one, I use a mixture of Chinese and English, try to attract both the English-speaking people and the Chinese-speaking people. So, okay, let's move on. This one is about the British ancestor fought for plague. This one not too bad, isn't it? On the left-hand side, I have some photos. It's about the disease which caused the people. You see the necrosis of fingers. On the top, I have the title of the British ancestors fight plagues. I did use a different color to highlight more important word. But on the bottom, the text was too small and also covered by the timestamps. This one, I think the contrast is better. You see, I use some black background as well to make the text easy to read. On the top, you can see on the top left, I put a DIY. So you immediately, when you see this thumbnail, you know this is about DIY. Then I have text tell you how to save you £200. Then in the middle, I have the title, how to repair Bosch dishwasher. Then I have the dishwasher on the bottom. Then I use how and the question mark to attract your attention. But sometimes, when you design your thumbnail, because on the right-hand side you have a title. So make sure the text in the thumbnail do not repeat exactly as your video title. Otherwise, when people read this, they can read your title on the right-hand side. It's useless. So sometimes when I first designed this, I forgot it. I put the text exact same as the video title. It's no point to do that. So what you can do, if the title is clear described, then you can put some keyword in your thumbnail. The text in your thumbnail and the title on the right hand side is complementary rather than repeating. So this is very important. So next one you can see here, I did probably much better. On the top I have some keywords, say killers. What's killers? It's about the plague. So I put the title called Send Away the Plague, the God of Plague. That's in English. On the top I have a Chinese as well. On the bottom I have the authors of the poem. But on the right hand side I give you the famous poems. So you can see in the thumbnail I do not put famous poems in there because otherwise you're repeating. But on the right hand side you can see the title of the poem, Send Away of the Plague, not show enough. But I do have the title in my thumbnail. I don't need that, isn't it? But you can see combination of the text on the right hand side is famous poems, and the text on the thumbnail is Send Away the God of Plague. This is a beautiful combination of the thumbnail and the video title. Okay, you can see from here onward I did much better than before. Like this one, also it is in Chinese, but you can see the font was much bigger. On the right hand side I put English. You can see I put a combination. If I put the title is English, I may put a Chinese in the thumbnail. In this way both Chinese speaker, English speaker, they can understand what a video about. But on the text, in the thumbnail, I put on the left top is about lockdown, but on the right hand side is short of food. Then in the middle, I put text is how to use the orange skin to make some snakes. This is clear. You can read them, and also probably from this thumbnail you probably understand better. You can see when I change the color, some color is much easy to be read by your viewers. Some color maybe not, and the contrast as well. Okay, you can see from there, I can do much better. Like this one, I talk about World War. On the top, I use Chinese about the First World War, Second World War. In the middle, I talk about the history of the World War, sort of things. On the bottom left, I put the Third World War, which just attract people. Okay, you know First World War, you know Second World War, but I'm talking about Third World War as well here to make it more attractive. But however, I still think the weakness of this one is the text in the middle. The red color is not very visualized good enough. So I have to change this one later on. And in the future, if I change a new one, you probably will say how I make the thumbnail better visualized in the future. But if you look at the bottom one, is how to cut tall, overgrown lawn and long grass. This one you say, I got the contrast much better, the font is much bigger. On the top, I only have 4 words. In the middle, each row, I only have 2 words. On the left, I put no string trimmer, no skis, no garden. But this one, I still have the same problem. You see, the timestamp on the bottom right cover my text. So, because when I try to show you my weakness and the strengths of design my thumbnail, I realize that I promise in the future for all my thumbnail, I will avoid the bottom right hand side. Do not put anything there because it will be covered anyway. But on the right hand side, I have the best way to cover all growing something. But you can see the best way is the keyword in the title. But in the thumbnail, I do not put the best way. So this will be complementary between the text in my thumbnail and the text on the video title. Okay, thank you very much for watching. Today I just show you from my own experience what's good, what's bad I have so far for my thumbnail. If you do have any other ideas, suggestions, please contact me. I probably will make another video to show how I design a thumbnail with you in the future. If you like this video, please do remember to thumb up, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please do click the button in the bottom right to subscribe to my channel. And I'm very active, I work very hard, I share my experience and tips with you, with other YouTube users, and hopefully we can all learn each other and we grow together. Thank you very much.